Are you an independent musician feeling overwhelmed by the endless act of juggling creativity, business, and self-care? You're not alone. That's why I created the Artist Mind Map. The Artist Mind Map is a free blueprint designed to help you get clear on the route you need to take to attain your career goals in alignment to your artistic values. This is not just another random PDF page for the forgotten corners of your hard disk. It's a timeless roadmap you can use for decades to come. Think of it as a go-to overview to consult. When you grab your free mind map, you get exclusive access to a masterclass that will take your career to the next level. I use the same methodologies and systems for my high-end paying clients and students. So why am I giving it to you for free? Simple. I want to build a community of artists who can count on each other for safe spaces. Music saved my life. I believe that you have all that it takes to be the artist you were meant to be, if you're willing to put in the work. And more importantly, understanding what that work is. And the Artist Mind Map was designed to help you do exactly that. So if this resonates with you, go to artistmindmap.com and download this resource. artistmindmap.com. Welcome to another session solo cast. These solo casts were designed to help independent artists and musicians like you navigate the very complex labyrinth that is your artistic practice and career. They're based on empirical research and experiences of my own career as an independent musician and an educator and coach working with artists just like you. The primary aim behind these sessions is to offer accessibility to the kind of education many of us need to work with in order to forward ourselves in these very confusing times as empowered and independent artists in the truest sense of the word. Alright folks, welcome to another solo cast again. We're talking about sensitivity versus fragility, an artist's perspective. So navigating the emotional labyrinth, that's the word I'm going to use here, that comes with an artist's lifestyle. I've often found my sensitivity, the very essence of my creative force, misinterpreted as fragility. Now that's a kind of confusion that resulted not only in feeling undermined in my artistic endeavors, but often as an attempt to distort and misrepresent my emotional constitution. Pretty big, actually. As a third culture, global, hyphenated artist, the mislabeling of something I was trained to and have considered my biggest strength, sensitivity, being categorized as fragility would often feel like a legitimate threat to stifle my expression and often leaving me feeling hurt, disoriented, and in worst case, disconnected from my authentic inner self. So let's clarify a few myths around these two easily mistaken concepts. Sensitivity is an acute awareness, a heightened responsiveness to the world's subtleties. It allows us to capture the ephemeral beauty of a moment, the intricate play of light and shadow, the interplay of unspoken emotions. Sensitivity is the very lifeblood of my creativity that transforms ordinary experiences into extraordinary art. Sensitivity is also my compass, growing up between 3 continents and 4 countries. It's what helps me bridge cultural divides, find common ground in the shared language of art, and on some days help me figure out what the right direction is, or the right next step is. So far from being a weakness, my sensitivity is kind of like my superpower, to be honest. At least that's how I feel about it. It imbues my work with the authenticity and the resonance I kind of strive to inject into it in an attempt to create what is essentially a mirror into my soul. Let's talk about fragility in comparison. Fragility, in contrast, denotes a lack of resilience, a brittleness that crumbles under pressure. A fragile person is usually overwhelmed by smaller adversities, unable to bounce back from setbacks. Fragility will usually concoct an image of a brand of susceptibility without the strength to navigate the very string of realities and events inherently connected to the human condition. Where sensitivity connects us deeply to our emotions and surroundings, Fragility, on the other hand, isolates us unnecessarily, or has the potential to anyway, creating barriers to our growth and expression. Fragility hinders our ability to engage with our external environments and to transform the grapples of our experiences into something beautiful. The very essence of the art-making process, one might argue. The misconception in general, sensitivity as fragility. The conflation of sensitivity with fragility often stems from societal stereotypes that valorize a brand of stoicism while dismissing emotional expressiveness. And in many cultural contexts, sensitivity will be unfairly tagged as emotional instability or weakness. This misperception fails to recognize the profound strength found in being deeply attuned to our inner emotional landscape. In my collaborations with artists from so many diverse backgrounds, it's been easy to observe how sensitivity, when mislabeled as fragility, leads to so much self-doubt and repression. It's a kind of confusion that can often rob us of the courage to embrace our complete emotional spectrum, and hence is a very, very diminishing force to our creative potential in itself. Moving on to how to embrace sensitivity as a strength. One of the first things I had to do to reclaim sensitivity as a strength on my own terms was to acknowledge its true value. Understanding how it's not about being easily hurt and more about having the courage to feel and express those feelings free from any inhibition through art. Here are a few suggestions on how you could go about this too. Number 1, honor your emotions. Recognize and validate your emotional experiences. They are the raw material of your art, threads that weave your unique narrative. So don't ever let anyone, including yourself, deny their existence. Acknowledge and dig deep. Our emotions are a direct messenger of our subconscious mind on a mission to deliver essential messages. Number 2, cultivate mindfulness. Mindfulness is not a cheap pop spirituality trend, but a genuinely helpful tool to help us regulate the nervous system and ensure our actions are based on authentic emotions, and not those created from a space of reacting to external stimuli or provocation. Engage in practices that keep you grounded. This will help you navigate your emotional landscape without overwhelm, allowing you to channel safely and holistically. Number 3, set boundaries. Set clear boundaries. Protect your emotional well-being. Boundaries are a buzzword too. I think at some point I'm going to do an episode on that in itself, but I want to dig a little deeper and do a little more research. There's just so much poor information flying about, and this is one of the most misinterpreted words out there. Protect your emotional well-being. Sensitivity does not mean absorbing the negative bullshit in your environment. That's really not something you want to do. Artists tend to be empathetic and intuitive by nature. Maybe I'm stereotyping there, but I'd argue most of us bring those qualities to the table by default. What doesn't get talked about, though, is how attractive that can be to emotional vampires looking to feed on your generosity instead of taking responsibility for their own inner work and their own emotional stability. So the more unstable we are emotionally, the more we will be attracted to those who offer a counterbalance, because they have something which I don't. So I will have an inherent tendency, without getting too dark here, to get some of that as well. Taking from others can often feel easier than just kind of building that same quality within ourselves. So set boundaries. Number 4, seek supportive communities. I say that in a lot of other episodes as well. Surround yourselves with individuals, like-minded people who understand and appreciate your sensitivity, your specific sensitivity, and the power of sensitivity generally. Fellow artists, mentors, and coaches can also provide the affirmation and guidance you need to thrive. Okay, that was number 4, seeking supportive communities. Number 5, channel emotions into art. This might sound redundant, but utilize your sensitivity. Don't exploit it. Don't look at it from a manipulative point of view, but utilize your sensitivity. Utilize the superpower you've been gifted with. Allow it to be the driving force behind your creative expression. Use your art to explore and articulate your emotional landscape, transforming vulnerability into strength. The end result is a form of tangible proof, for lack of a better term, behind the theory being mentioned here. Conclusion. Understanding the distinction between sensitivity and fragility is essential for our growth as artists. Sensitivity is our creative powerhouse, enabling us to connect, create, and communicate on deeper levels. Embracing it and rejecting the misconception, equating it to fragility, can help cultivate a meaningful and fulfilling artistic practice and career. If we luck out, it could even be the catalyst for authentic and supportive artistic communities as well. So, additionally, if you're a multicultural global artist like me, navigating multiple cultural landscapes and milieus, know that our sensitivity is enriched deeply by the diverse tapestry of our experiences, even if they feel like a heavy load to bear on some day. It is through this sensitivity that we can create art that transcends political boundaries, cultural idiosyncrasies, and speak to the universal human experience. So take a minute to celebrate and nurture that gift. Chances are it's the ultimate interface for us to truly touch the hearts and minds of our audiences and peers. Hope that helps. Hey folks, I hope you found that episode helpful. Here's a little request. If you did, consider sharing this episode with your folks. Think about the ways in which they might benefit the way you did. And please don't ever hesitate to reach out if you have queries. My name's TL. I'm an independent musician and educator and the founder of the Holistic Musician Academy.